You can create an address object and then add one or more IP addresses to the address object. Address objects are created under Objects, Addresses, and instead of adding individual addresses to your security policy rule, you can create an address object, then add the address object to your security policy rule. Bear in mind that known bad IP addresses can change quickly, so a static address object could become out of date. Now I've got one here called malicious IP address 1. Whenever I create a new address object, I can choose from different types. For example, I can choose IPnet mask, IP range, IP wildcard match, or FQDN, fully qualified domain name. If I select IPnet mask, then I can enter a single IP address like this, or an IP network number with a net mask like this. If I choose IP range, then I can enter a network range like this. I can also use IP wildcard mask, which lets me enter a network mask that defines a set of IP addresses, like this. If I choose FQDN, or fully qualified domain name, and then enter a domain name, for example, I can click Resolve to ensure that the firewall can map the domain name to an IP address, like here. The fully qualified domain name can resolve up to 30 IP addresses for a single host name. When you commit the configuration to the firewall uses DNS to resolve the fully qualified domain name to an IP address. After the initial IP address resolution, the firewall refreshes the IP address for, in this case, www.fishme.com, at the interval specified by the TTL, or time to live, value in the DNS response. Now there's a global setting for minimum FQDN refresh time, and this is found under Device, Setup, Services. If the time to live in the DNS response is less than this minimum value here, then the firewall uses its minimum refresh time instead. In other words, if the DNS response tells the firewall to perform a DNS lookup for www.fishme.com every 10 seconds, but the firewall is set to use this minimum refresh time of 30 seconds, then the firewall will use this time here of 30 seconds.